All right, fellas. We gotta move on. We got one last topic, entertainment one.
Okay.
This is favorite Jennifer Lopez track. I've
Um,
been a since I was a little kid. I've been a huge fan of Jennifer Lopez from her album 1999 on the Six. Love that album. Love J Lo. Favorite tracks: Waiting for Tonight, and the other one with Ja Rule, the remix, I'm Real. That was the track I sent you earlier, champ.
hold on,
I
Yeah.
mean,
let me see. Let
I
me see
mean
if
with
that's the
Jay,
right song. Hold on.
I
No,
love
no,
Mine's
go
those,
ahead. Go ahead, John.
mine
but
mine's is
whoever wants to go with favorite Jennifer Lopez track.
mine's
Um,
is love don't cost a thing.
yeah.
That was a good one. The dancing, the music video too. That was iconic though.
Yeah.
Fast PFP, fast.
Yeah. Hey man, look, the way we talk about I'm gonna keep this clean, very, very clean. We have children watching, we have everybody of all ages watches. But look, her and a certain person, I will say, was the first power couple that I ever seen. We talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z right now. We talk about a lot of couples that get together, but the first of its kind was her and a certain rap mogul that we saw. And I know we don't mention names on because a lot of litigations is going on with this certain person, but he was one of the biggest mogul of the 90s. And when we saw him and her on I think it was the 98 VMAs with her in the Versace dress on.
Oh,
I
you can
mean,
say his name.
yeah, no, we're not gonna do that, bro. We're not gonna do that. We keeping it clean for the kids.
All
But the
right,
thing
I
is,
got you.
that was the first power couple we ever
You
seen.
talking about the Grammys?
Yeah, the Grammys and the MTV Award. Yeah, that was a moment for the ages. You know what I'm talking about, PSP. We gonna keep it clean.
I know exactly
Yeah,
what you referred to. You ain't
so
gotta put it into more
yeah,
context. I know exactly
But
what you referred
yeah,
to. See my eyes. I
yeah, that
know.
was that
I
definitely
I,
about
I would
number three.
I would have said her and Derek Jeter, but that's just me though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for hip hop culture.
Oh, for hip
For
hop
hip
culture,
hop
okay,
culture, it
okay.
was her and the other guy. But the thing is, favorite J Lo track, man. Uh, gotta be ain't that funny.
With Ja Rule, the
Yeah,
remix.
yeah. The irony of it is she sampled flavor in your ear in order to do that. So that was a real. When you say ain't that funny, I kind of find it ironic that you sample flavor in your ear a couple years after that whole breakup situation. I just it's kind of like ironic, ain't that funny, but man, you losing. This is a track from a certain mogul. So I'm like, yeah, it is funny. You using that track. I recognize that track. But
I'm surprised he didn't pick the other track.
so
All I Have with the great LL Cool J.
yeah, that one was next. But you got me. I got you in the wrestling segment. Now you get me back in the music segment.
Hey,
So
listen, this is Jennifer Lopez we talking about right here, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hey man, look, man. Look, Jennifer Lopez, man. Look, say what you want, but she had talent. People can spew all types of, but back in the 90s, she was huge. Even to this day, she's huge. And you got to understand something, man. Back then, for her to be on that huge, to be that huge, when you had to compete with Mariah Carey and some of those huge singles back then, and for your albums to be going platinum, multi-platinum, and triple platinum, and for you to be putting up those type of numbers and to be a headline at the VMAs, for you to be doing that back then, it says a lot about how talented that you are. People can say whatever they would like, but numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Back then, wasn't no streaming, wasn't no social media. I mean,
Mm,
say what you will, J Lo was the talk of the town, and you never really heard about her in the media. People can say what they would like about her relationships, but you never really heard a lot of tumultuous things, I would say, like you would hear about a lot of superstars today. And PSP, you know what I'm talking about. You don't really hear about a lot of scandal. You'll hear about, yeah, they broke up, but you don't hear about no scandal per se when you talk about J-Lo. So my thing is, man, hey, let talent breathe and let us have the moments that we had, man. But I would say, Ain't That Funny was a real big track, man. And I was just happy to be a part of that era, man, especially with the doing the VMAs during that time. Like I said, her and a certain mogul was the first power couple we ever saw. And quite frankly, I was excited to see something like that as a child. That made you want to go date the cheerleader at your school, man, because you feel like you had a shot, especially when you was that cool. I will say for that time. For that time, I will say.
You felt
But
like you were the Mac in high school?
yeah, you felt like you was the Mac in high school. I was like, if dude can do that and he can get a J-Lo, I know regardless of my weight and my love handles, I could go out there and try to date the shit. but yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna sneak one in on you. Everything respected. But
Wow.
yeah, that's how I felt,
Wow is right, bro.
That is
you
crazy,
know what?
champ.
I'm the offensive lineman. I'm the offensive lineman on my
Boy,
team.
that's that diabolical work right there, boy. Ooh.
But I
Hot
felt
take,
like
Kenny. Hot take, Kenny. What's your favorite J-Lo track?
Let me just say this, man. Jennifer Lopez, out of all the times I've been living on this planet Earth, is easily top 10 most sexiest women I've ever seen in my life.
Cook.
She's still
Cook.
sexy now, bro.
She's still sexy, and she's 50 years old.
She's
But
56.
yeah, that's crazy. But look, man, I really never got into Jennifer Lopez's music like that, but I do like this one particular song, and it's with her and Ja Rule. It's called "I'm Real," and I've said this on my podcast called the Kenny Dior podcast. Man, Selena played a huge role in Jennifer Lopez's success, man, and on Latin culture, especially. Without Selena, there is no Jennifer Lopez. So,
I don't want to make this like censored, but Selena's the one that like got killed, right?
yeah, she's the one that got killed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Jennifer Lopez. I really never got into her music like that. My cousin is a very huge fan because she's Puerto Rican. So maybe I'll have some conversations about Jennifer Lopez's talent soon. But I like that one song with her and Ja Rule. It's called "I'm Real," I believe. What PSP said.
Yeah, the
So
the remix,
yeah,
the
that's
Murder Inc. one. That was a
Batman guy.
hit one. That was a good one. And also too, shout out to Champ as well because we had the conversation. Favorite weigh-ins moment. Remember, she used to be on In Living Color as one of the dancers. Let's not forget that in case if people are forgetting.
yeah, and she was a great dancer too, man. I mean, she was the fly girls from the Living Color. Hey, she could dance her behind off. And like I said, going back to the earlier conversation with her and a certain someone, she was in that video, been around the world. I mean, and she was dancing in that video. I mean, talent cannot be underestimated. People can say whatever they want to about your personal life or whatever, but look, give credit where it's due. She had talent. You can't be untalented and not make it.
All right, BRF.
Hmm. I'm with Kenny. I wasn't necessarily as big of a fan of her musically. Now she did have some good. Now I will say she did have some good tracks. Yeah, like she definitely could kill it as far as like the remixes and the connections and being able to pull the hip hop versions of her songs with the remixes. Like she could pull some good remixes. My favorite one is probably Ain't It Funny. That's probably my favorite one. Just like her, I don't know what it was with her and Ja Rule, but they could
they can make a hit. Yeah, they could definitely
make a hit.
Oh, they
You
made,
get them on the track. You get them on the track together. They could get a hit. Now I will give them that. They could get a
Ja
hit. Like
Rule
I'm
was big
real.
though with collaborations though. Him and Ashanti back then
I
too.
will. Now I would say that now, but I mean at that time though, Ja Rule was like one of the hot things going. Like he was one of the big names going. He couldn't help 50 Cent came out and did what he did with his career. and the rest is history. He can't control that. But at the time, Ja Rule was a pretty big deal because I'll admit the Rule 336 album, whether you admit it or not, that was a really good album. Whether you want to admit it or not, that was a good album. But yeah, I think about the narrative, I would say, "Ain't It Funny" is probably my favorite song from J Lo because of how that beat. Because I mean that beat did carry, and yeah, I mean it was Flavor in the Ear. I mean you can't knock it. I mean I've said Flavor in the Ear is one of the greatest instrumentals in the history of hip hop. I mean that there shouldn't really be no argument to that. So I mean to be able to use that, of course you're gonna get a hit record. So and just the way that with the flow, I mean it carried. I mean that beat carried it. I mean that was a really good song. If I had to pick one like a remix, it would probably be "Ain't It Funny." But as far as an original song of hers, "Love Don't Cost a Thing." Love don't cost a thing was I like that. That was a really good one. If you're talking about like an original track, so I would probably go one of those two as far as like my favorite J Lo track.
All right, Brandon, you mentioned "Love Don't Cost a Thing." That was one of the tracks that you like, right?
Yeah.
All right, Kieran.
So just like Kenny and BRF, I actually want to get into J Lo because I do think she has a good voice. I think her vocals are pretty good. I've listened to Jenny from the Block, Love Don't Cost a Thing. I listen to Let's Get Loud, but it's kind of a bias pick because I've been to a lot of weddings recently, and when On the Floor plays, everyone just has a good ass time. It is a very catchy song. So that's personally for me. I know it's one of her newer songs because I didn't really listen to her '90s like music, but I really want to get into it because I need. I've always said I need a comeback when it comes to music because I've been listening to the same stuff for about the last 5 years. But
You
anyway,
got to hop on Kenny's pod, man. He-
yeah. But yeah, yeah. I want to get into more J-Lo. I do.
yes. Kenny, do you think you can be around next week?
For sure. What's the topics?
I'm gonna spoil this one.
Okay. Oh God.
Favorite Chris Brown track.
Hey man, hey man,
Oh,
hey man,
brother.
hey man, hey man. So look. I know this ain't my podcast. It's PSP podcast. And I know it's about to end it soon. I just want to say this, man. For this coming episode on the Kenny Dior podcast, I will be talking about the Tank said in an interview in PSP. I also want you to talk about this on your podcast. Tank said Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson. Oops,
As an artist or dancer?
As an artist,
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw it. I saw the clips of it on Stephen A's pod on YouTube. I do recall that.
okay. Y'all hear me?
No, we
Yeah.
can hear you. We can
yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
All right, so look, so on my podcast, I'm sorry, Tank said in an interview that Chris Brown was better than Michael Jackson. So we're gonna be talking about that and what he basically said in the interview. I'll just break it down since people are like, making a whole big deal. He's breaking down from a talent perspective. He's not going off, sales or nothing like that. He's just going off pure talent. So we gonna get into this soon. If you want to join the podcast on Sunday, you are more than welcome to. But yeah, man, we gonna get into that soon. I can't wait, man. I can't wait, man. Because what I'm saying, people are finally starting to see the light with Chris Brown and finally giving that man his props, and I'm glad to see it.
And shout out to Kenny. Please go check out his podcast. What's the name of the podcast to make sure that people like and subscribe and follow, man?
Yeah, man. Go first and foremost. Go follow me on Instagram, Kenny.Dior. My podcast is linked in the bio. My YouTube channel is called Kenny Dior. We do podcasts every Thursday and every Sunday, around like 5:30 to 8:30 time, depending on the mood, depending on the day. It's a music podcast. We also talk about cartoons and music. I said music and movies on my podcast also. And
Yep.
yeah, man, stay tuned to every episode.